why we want to use it. So look at what is a visual force, why we want to go for a visual force. Now look at the format. Visual force pages, when you already have existing functionalities, like a page layout, record type, mini page layout, search layout, then why you are going for visual force page? What is the purpose of the visual force page? Why you are going for visual force page? In the initial days, we don't have the visual force pages. We used to build everything using S controller. Today, what we are using is visual force pages. Initially, we don't have the visual force pages. We have S controllers. So it is something like this. As we started the creation of UI with S controllers, then we came into visual force pages. From visual force, we went to lightning, and upcoming is web methods, you can see. This is how the structure of the UI increased. Initially, we have S controllers. The entire UI, whatever you used to use, you have a requirement. Whatever the requirement you have, that is built with S controllers. Then later it came to visual force page. Later we went to lightning. Later we went to lightning web methods. So initially it was built using S controllers, then to visual force page, then to lightning, then to lightning web methods. Now today this is no more in use. It is deprecated completely. What I have is visual force pages today. Right? If you are going for a lightning, you are going with the lightning components and lightning web methods. Right, boss? So what is this visual force page? What is this? What is the purpose of this? Visual force is a framework using which developers will build sophisticated custom user interface. Visual force is a framework that allows developers to build sophisticated custom user interfaces. Visual force is a framework that allows developers to build sophisticated custom user interfaces that can be hosted on Lightning platform. So what is a visual force? Visual force is a framework that allows developers to build customized UI that can be hosted on Lightning platform. Let us give that. It is a framework that is used by. It is a framework that is used by developers to build custom user interfaces that can be hosted on Lightning platform. It is a framework that is used by developers to build custom user interfaces. These user interfaces are hosted on Lightning platform. This is hosted on Lightning platform. Okay. Now, what this visual force page consists of? Visual force consists of online. Is my screen is visible? Online, is my screen is visible?
Yes, Satish.
Yes, Satish.
Right.
Yes, Satish.
Now, what this visual force page consists of? This consists of tag-based markup language, and server-side controllers. VF pages consist of tag-based markup language and VF page consists of tag-based markup language and server-side controller. VF page consists of tag-based markup language and server-side controllers. So what was this tag-side markup language? The moment I say tag-based markup language, it may consist of Visual Force components or it can consist of HTML components. Now, what is this tag-based markup language? Tag-based markup language. Tag-based markup language. This consists of what? One, Visual Force components or Visual Force elements. Second one, HTML or scripting elements. What is that? Visual Force. What are these Visual Force elements? Salesforce has built some predefined components. Salesforce have built some predefined components. Salesforce have built some predefined components. Salesforce have built some predefined components. Salesforce has built some predefined components. Okay, which are used to build the rich user interfaces. Like we have Apex form, Apex page block table, page block section item, X, Y, Z. So what was this? Visual Force elements. What was this? Visual Force elements. Visual Force elements. What are these? These are the components which are built by Salesforce to create rich user interfaces. These are the components which are built by Salesforce to create rich user interface. These are the components which are built by Salesforce to create rich user interface. These are the components which are built by Salesforce to create rich user interface. Example. These are some of the components. Similarly, scripting elements. What are the scripting elements? Any element that is supported by browser, or also any element that is supported by browser, also supported by Visual Force. Example, HTML script. Next, jQuery. Any element that is supported by browser are also supported by Visual Force. So basically, what are these? Tag-based markup language. When you say tag-based markup language, it consists of Visual Force page or scripting elements. When you say Visual Force elements, these are created by the Salesforce in the form of Visual Force components, which are used to build rich user interfaces. Again, I repeat, complete story. Look at the point. Look at the point. Your Visual Force page consists of tag-based markup language or server-side controllers. Visual Force page consists of tag-based markup language, server-side controller. Again, I repeat, Visual Force page consists of tag-based markup language or server-side controller. What is this tag-based markup language? So these are the elements. Tags are the elements which are used to build user interface. It consists of Visual Force components or elements. Second one, HTML or scripting. When you say Visual Force elements, Visual Force element, what are these Visual Force elements? Visual Force element, what are these? These are the components which are created by Salesforce to build rich UI. Example, Apex form, Apex page block, Apex page block section. So then we have HTML and scripting elements. What are these HTML and scripting elements? Any element that is supported by the browser is also supported by the Visual Force. Any element that is supported by the browser is also supported by the Visual Force. HTML and scripting elements. Any element or scripting that is supported by browser is also supported by Visual Force. Example, we can use HTML, JavaScript, jQuery. This is what we created. So tag-based markup is nothing but Visual Force components and scripting elements. Okay. What is the next one we have? Server-side controllers. What is the server-side controllers? When a user clicks on the button, what is the change you want to make on the database? When a user clicks on the link, what is the action you want to change? When you change the value, what is the action you want to perform on the server side? So whenever user interacts with the elements on the page, what is the action you want to perform on the server side is defined with the controllers. When user interacts with any one of the element on the page, when user interacts with any one of the element on the page, what is the action you want to perform on the server side is defined by server side controllers. Look at the point. Whenever any user interacts with elements on the page, what is the action we want to perform on the server side? Like inserting the data, updating the data, are defined using server side control. So basically, what is the action? Whenever user interacts with the elements on the page, what is the action we want to perform on the server side, like inserting the data, updating the data, etc., is defined using server side controller. There are three types of controllers. What are they? One is standard controller. Second one is custom controller. Third one is extension. So the controllers are also three types. What is the purpose of controller? They will perform the action on the server. Maybe calculating a logic, inserting the data, modifying the data, deleting the data, anything that you want to perform on the server side, maybe with the interacting with the data, or performing some calculations or logics is done by the controllers. Controllers are used to perform calculations, logic, and database interaction. There are three types of controllers what we have: standard controller, custom controller, and extension. Okay, let us see the first one, standard controller. What was the standard controller? Boss, whatever the standard properties of a table are given, when you open account, let us say you open an account. When you open an account, who gave this new button? Salesforce provided. When you click on the new button, what we are getting? Save and new, cancel. Who gave this functionality? Salesforce. So on this object, Salesforce has already defined some standard action. If you want to reuse the same actions, then we go for standard controller. If you want to reuse the properties which are defined by the Salesforce, then we go for standard controller. Now let us say account name, it is required. When I create a page, on the page also name has to come as required. I gave type pick list. On the page also I want to get a pick list. So whatever the properties of the object are there, same properties we want to use it, same functionalities we want to use it, then we go for standard controller. If you want to use exact properties of the object which are given by the Salesforce, then we go for standard controller. Again I repeat, if you want to reuse the exact functionalities that are defined by the Salesforce on an object, then we go for a concept of standard controller. Are you clear about it? So no custom logic. Everything that is already defined by Salesforce, you are reusing them, which are called standard controller. Look at this. We want to reuse the standard functionalities. If you want to reuse the standard functionalities that are defined in an object, then if you want to reuse the standard functionalities that are defined on an object, then we will go for standard controller. If you want to reuse the standard functionalities that are defined on an object, then we use standard controller. Then we have custom controller. If you want to build your own custom logic, then we create Apex classes and use them as then extension. If you want to use standard controller and controller together, standard controller. If you want to reuse the standard functionalities defined by the Salesforce, then you go for standard controller. No, you want to write your own logics, then we go for custom controller. Custom controller is nothing but Apex classes. Third one, extension. Some of the properties I want to take standard, some of the properties I want to take custom, then I will go for extension. Are you getting my point? Standard controller using same standard functions, properties defined by the Salesforce. Custom controller, you want to build your own functionalities, custom controller. Extension, you want to take some standard functionalities, some custom functionalities, then you go for extension. I hope you are good. Am I clear? Standard controller, custom controller, extension. Standard controller, custom controller, extension. I hope you are good with this. Okay. Then, now, once again look at the point. Visual Force page consists of tag-based markup language and server-side controllers. Tag-based markup language basically consists of Visual Force elements or your scripting elements. Now, server-side controllers, in case when the user interacts with any one of the element in the page, what is the action you want to perform on the server is defined with the server-side controllers. They are standard controller, custom controller, and extension. I hope you are good with this. So basically, Visual Force page consists of Visual Force elements or server-side controllers. That is a standard controller, custom controller, or an extension. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Clear? Right, boss? Okay. Now, where this Visual Force page is going to be used? Where are we going to use this Visual Force page? Look at the point. When I click on the tab, this is the page we are getting. I don't want this page. When I click on the tab, I don't want this page. I want this page to be displayed. Right, boss? When you click on the tab, we are getting one standard page. I don't want the standard page. I want my page to be a custom one. I want to design in the way I want. Then you have to override the standard tabs. When you click on the tab, don't display this page, display my page. Now when I click on new account, I give Wipro records. Again I give Wipro, click on save. Record should not be saved. It should check whether any duplicate record is there. Yes, duplicate record is already there called Wipro. Through error message saying that duplicate record already exists. you cannot save the record. What is the standard functionality we had? When I enter the data, click on save, record is getting saved. So what is our requirement? When you click on save, record should not be saved. Record should not be saved. It has to verify, are there any duplicate records with the same name? Yes, if there is any duplicate record, throw error message, no duplicate record, save it. So what you want? You want to replace the save button. When you click on the save, directly it is saving. I don't want to directly save it. I want some extra logic to be performed. So what should you do? You want to redefine your save button. When I click on the new, you are getting this page. You are getting this page. You are getting this page. I don't want this page to be displayed. I want my own page to be displayed. Now look at this. When I click on accounts, you are getting the sidebar component like this. I don't want this sidebar component. I want my own component to be displayed. Here, like create new, recent items, recycle bin. I don't want this. I want to design my own elements. Then creating custom sidebar components. So what is your requirement? First, overriding the standard pages, overriding the standard tabs, creating a custom tabs, overriding the standard buttons, creating the custom buttons, creating a sidebar components. All these are the functionalities of Visual Force page. So what is the purpose of Visual Force page? What is the purpose of Visual Force page? First, it can be used to create custom pages. It can be used to override. It can be used to override standard pages, tabs. We can create custom buttons. We can create custom tab. We can override standard. We can create custom sidebar components. What is that? It can be used to create custom pages. It can be used to override standard pages or tabs. We can create custom buttons, custom tabs, override the standard buttons, or we can create a custom sidebar components. These are the some of the use cases of the Visual Force. If you want to override any one of the standard page, home page I want to override, list page I want to override, okay, then I will go for Visual Force. I want to create my own custom user interfaces, Visual Force. You want to replace standard button with custom logic, you will go for Visual Force. I want to add one extra button on the standard page, Visual Force page. I want to create my own tab, Visual Force. I want to create a custom sidebar component, I will go for Visual Force. When you want to replace standard pages with your own logics, Visual Force. When you want to build custom logics on standard pages, Visual Force. As simple as that. On standard page, you want to replace with custom logic, or you want to add any custom buttons on standard pages, then we go for Visual Force page. I hope you are clear. Am I clear with this? Any query on this? Any query? Clear, boss? Then what is the architecture of this Visual Force? What is the architecture of this Visual Force? Let us see. So this is the architecture of the Visual Force. Now, when you are opening a browser, when you enter the browser, developer console, you wrote a Visual Force program, you saved it. The moment you save the Visual Force page, then automatically what happened? The page will go to force.com platform where we have application server. The page will go to application server, page will be compiled. Once the page is compiled, then the page is going to be saved to metadata repository. The page is going to be saved to metadata repository. We have a developer console. On the browser, you write a program. When you save it, it goes to force.com platform. Then we have a application server. When you have application server, the program will be compiled. If the program is compiled successfully, it will be saved as metadata repository. I told except the data, everything is metadata. I told except the data, everything is metadata. Except the data, everything is metadata. The moment you save the program, then it goes to force.com platform, compile the program, then it goes to metadata repository. Once the page is saved, then it's going to re-render in the form of HTML. So once you write a program and save, go to force.com. In the force.com, we have application server which will compile the page. If the page is compiled successfully, then it goes to metadata and save it. Then it goes to metadata and save it. If the page is saved successfully, then the page is going to be rendered in the form of HTML. The page is going to be rendered in the form of HTML. Am I clear with this? Am I clear? So once you write the program, save it, go to application server, program is going to be compiled. If it is compiled successfully, that is saved to metadata repository. And the same program which is saved to metadata repository will be rendered in the form of HTML. I hope you are clear with this. Okay. Suppose you are trying to open a page which is already saved. The Visual Force page which is already saved. When you request a page, the moment you request a page, it goes to application server, go to metadata repository, verify the page exists or not. If the page exists, page is going to be rendered in the form of HTML and displayed. Are you clear about this? Are you clear? So what was that? When you enter the data, when you request a page, it goes to application server. It goes to application server, and from application server, it goes to metadata repository. From application server, it goes to metadata repository. From metadata repository, it will verify whether the page exists or not. If the page exists, then page will be rendered in the form of HTML. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Okay. Now, what are the permissions required in the profile to create a VF page? So answer, customize application. In the profile, we need to have permission on customize application. Customize application. If your profile has the permission of customize application, you will be able to build Visual Force pages. At the same time, what is the permission required to create? Apex class. Other Apex. What is the permission required to create Apex classes triggers? What is the permission required to create apex class or trigger? That is other apex. What is the permission we require? Other apex. Next, what are the rules we need to obey to create a VF page? What are the rules that we need to obey to create a VF page? What are the rules that we need to obey to create a VF page? First one, rules that we need to obey to create a VF page. First one, every element in the VF page, every element in the VF page should obey strict XML format. Every element in the VF page should obey strict XML format. Every element in the VF page should obey strict XML format. What do you mean by strict XML format? Every opening element should have one closing element. Every opening element should have one closing element. Every opening element should have one closing element. So look at the format. Every opening element should have one closing element. So which means I gave. Now this is the opening. This is the name, body of the element. Here we have opening element, closing element. Then I told, if there is no body, we can open and close like this. You don't have any body for the element, straight away open, close in the same way. If you don't have any body, open the element, close. Are you getting my point? Open and close in the same time. If you have a body, then we have element, body, close the element. 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 If you don't have any body, I hope you are good with this. If you don't have any body, student, this is how we are creating. Open the element, body, close the element. If you don't have any body, open and close in the same. I hope you are good. So every opening element should have corresponding closing element. Next rule. It is a case sensitive. When I say case sensitive, component is not case sensitive. If you open small n, you have to close with small n. Look at the point. You write name like this, or Salesforce say, I don't have a problem in writing the name. If you take a name, closing element should also be name, small letters. If you take capital name, so the Salesforce says, I am not giving a restriction on how you write name. But if you write small letter, closing also should be in small letter. If you write capital, closing also should be in capital. Now it says, I have elements like this. Apex page. It says, if you write apex page, closing element is apex page. Apex page. Sorry. So he says, I don't have a problem how you write, but if you write all capital, closing also should be capital. Salesforce says apex page is not case sensitive. Whatever the opening element you gave, closing element also should be the same. You write apex page like this, like this. Like this, I don't have a problem. But everything that you write should have equivalent closing element. Right, boss? Then, inner element should be closed first. Inner element should be closed first, then followed by outer elements. Inner elements, outer elements. Inner elements, then there should be outer elements. So what we do? We create apex page. Last. This all got it. Now what is that? First thing you have to close inner elements. First you have to close last name and first name, then only name should be closed. Inner element should be closed first, followed by outer elements. Inner element should be closed first, then outer elements. So it should be every opening element should have closing element, and it is a case sensitive. Whatever the element we opened, equivalent closing element should come. Inner element should be closed first, followed by outer elements. So this is called obeying strict XML format. Every element we write in the Visual Force page should obey strict XML format. So basically, every opening element should have corresponding closing element. Then inner element should be closed first, followed by outer elements. I hope you are good. Okay. Next rule. Every VF page should start and end with every VF page should start and end with apex page component. Every VF page should start and end with apex page component. Every VF page should start and end with apex page component. So all the Visual Force pages are going to start and end with apex page component. You can look at this apex page, apex page. Opening and element, closing element should be apex page. VF pages will have VF page will have an extension of dot. VF page will have an extension of dot VFP. Every Visual Force page will have an extension of dot VFP. Every Visual Force page will have an extension of dot VFP, Visual Force page. Next we have URL to open a page. If you want to open any Visual Force page, it should be HTTPS server instance / HTTPS server instance dot salesforce.com / apex / page name. Slash. How do you open a Visual Force page? salesforce.com/apex/. If you want to open any Visual Force page, salesforce.com/apex/page name. Salesforce.com/apex/page name. This is the URL to open any Visual Force page. Right, boss? Okay. Next one. In how many ways we can create a VF page? In how many ways we can create a VF page? First one. Standard navigation. Standard navigation. Second one, developer console. Third one, standard navigation, developer console using URL IDs. In how many ways we can create a Visual Force page? In how many ways we can create a Visual Force page? Standard navigation, developer console using URL IDs. What was that? Standard navigation. What is the standard navigation? Look at the point. Setup, build, develop Visual Force page, new Visual Force page, give the page name. Save it. We have a button called Preview to see the output of the page. Now go back again. Setup, build, develop Visual Force pages, new Visual Force, enter the page name, click on Save, Preview. Right? Standard navigation. Lightning components. Setup, build, develop Lightning components, Visual Force page, new. Enter the page name, enter the code, save, click on Preview. Standard navigation. Let's go to the next one. Developer console. How do you create using developer console? The most frequently used. What was that? Username, developer console. Developer console will open. file, new, Visual Force. We are going to enter the data. I hope you are good with this. So, developer console. Username, developer console. Username, developer console. File, new, username, developer console, file, new, Visual Force page. Enter the page name, enter the code, save, click on. I hope you are good with this. People are good with this. Then, third one, using URL. Third one, using URL. What is this using URL? So first, enable development mode. What is this enable development mode? Look at this. Setup, manage users, go to the user, manage users, go to the user. Here we have development mode on. Development mode on. When you say development mode on, what is the format? Enable development. How did I do that? Setup, administer, manage users. Then we have edit, enable development mode on. First, when you enable the development mode, setup, administer, manage users, edit, enable the development mode. Once you enable the development mode, we are going to save it. Then, go to the VF page, look at the format. Once the development mode is on, go to the /apex/ salesforce.com/apex/page. If the page exists, it will open the page. If the page doesn't exist, it will throw error message like this. When I click on the link, it is going to create a Visual Force page. Look at this. When it says development mode on, we are going to get this. When I say development mode on, we are going to get this information. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Clear? Once again, how do you enable the development mode? Setup, administer, manage users, go to the particular user. We have here development. Once you say development mode, we have enabled it. Development mode enabled. Once the development mode is enabled, go to the URL again. Setup, home, salesforce.com/apex/. If the page exists, it will open. Doesn't exist, link will come. When I click on the link, page will be created. You can start modifying your code from here. Right? This is called development mode on. On the page itself, the development mode is on. I hope you are good with that. So, server instance.salesforce.com/apex/page name. If the page is already existing, it will open. If the page is not existing, if the page is already existing, it will open. If the page is not existing, it will throw error message. It will throw error message. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Clear? Okay. This is URL. What is the last one we had? ID. We'll see how to create the pages using Eclipse and all that stuff. This is a basic introduction about what is a Visual Force page, what are the rules we use, how we create the Visual Force pages, everything. Okay, from tomorrow we'll concentrate on components. Straight away, how to design the Visual Force pages with the components. Now basically, Visual Force is to create custom user interfaces based on your business requirements. This is to override standard pages or to build custom logics on standard pages. You want to build your own page, Visual Force will be used. I want to build some custom logic on standard pages. Whatever the Salesforce created pages are there on those pages, I want to add my own logic. Then I'll go for Visual Force pages. I hope you are good. Clear? So that's all from my end. We'll continue tomorrow.